Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Reviews with Ranjani. It's been quite a while, but I did want to come back and do this. This is episode 38, and the book that we'll talk about today is called An Astronaut's Guide to Life. It's been a while since I read this, but there were like three lessons which are quite counterintuitive that way that I wanted to leave you with. So let's get started. So Colonel Chris Hadfield, he's the first Canadian astronaut to walk in space. And in this really entertaining book, he uses all of his years of training and space exploration to explain how conventional wisdom can get in the way of happiness. And as I read this, I kind of swayed between being hugely inspired to being underwhelmed with this feeling about that my life was quite mediocre in comparison. But what I did love is that he stuck to this no bullshit rule, right? That some self-help books can tend to move quickly into. So here are three takeaways for you from this. First one, aim to be zero. I'm quoting here. So when you enter a new relationship or a new situation, whether it's a rocket ship or a meeting room, you'll be viewed as one of three things. A -1, someone who actively causes harm and creates problems. A 0, where your impact is neutral and doesn't tip the balance one way or another, or a +1, who's someone who adds value, right? So he talks about how we all want to be a +1, and I've been very guilty about that as well. And Chris talks about how at first, whether you're on a new team or a new situation, his main goal is to avoid being a net negative contributor. So rather, he seeks to be a 0. And he says that by doing this and proclaiming, by not proclaiming yourself to be a +1, or rather, if you proclaim yourself to be a +1, you're almost certainly singling yourself out to be a -1 right away, right? And this is regardless of how smart you are or the skills and experiences you bring in. So he says instead, take a step back and win their confidence and trust by being a 0, which means that you pull your weight, humbly show up, try not to be in the spotlight, do your job professionally, ask questions, and learn the ropes. And over time, you earn people's respect and then can move from a 0 to a plus contributor. All right, so that's the first one. So aim to be a 0. The second one is what he calls sweat the small stuff. And as he quotes, an astronaut who doesn't sweat the small stuff is a dead astronaut. So he talks about how when you dedicate yourself to being the best you can be at anything, whether it's a hobby, a personal development, or something in your career, over preparation is the best chance of improving your odds. So the point is, pay attention to granular details like physical health symptoms or signs of car trouble, and that makes you incrementally safer, better, right? So over prepare, sweat the small stuff. Third one, don't visualize success. That's what we are taught, right? Positive thinking, think about, all the things which could succeed. He talks about how negative thinking sounds pessimistic and defeatist, but when you think about it, planning for the worst can actually be energizing and confidence boosting. How? He talks about how if you always prepare for a contingency in every scenario, you'll never be caught off guard, right? And his approach is to ask, what's the next thing that can kill me? And by thinking about what could go wrong in any specific situation, you end up preempting problems with your own solutions. Yeah. So those are the three things. Sweat the small stuff, aim to be a 0, and don't visualize success, the power of negative thinking, right? So I'll leave you with this quote from his book. Decide in your heart of hearts what really excites and challenges you, and start moving your life in that direction. Every decision you make, from what you eat to what you do with your time tonight, turns you into who you are tomorrow and the day after that. Look at who you want to be and start sculpting yourself into that person. And he talks about how you don't let life randomly kick you into the adult you don't want to become. I quite like this. I hope you like the review as well. And if there's a book in this genre that you'd recommend, drop me a note. Yeah. Thank you, folks. I will talk to you soon with another brilliant book. Yeah. Take care. Bye.